Welcome to the Nobody Tells You This podcast, where we will be debunking popular health myths, fads, so that you can get fact from fiction and make informed health choices. Join us every month for new episodes.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing? I want to hear a bit more than that. Hello, everyone. Yeah. How are you all? Okay.
Great.
Well, thank you so much for coming out on a Saturday morning for this. Really appreciate it. As Simran said earlier, you know, we need events like this. We need moments like this where we can share our health journey, not just our physical health journey, mental, emotional, and spiritual journeys, right? Because they all matter. Like the four chambers of our heart, the left, the right atrium, the left atrium, the left ventricle, the right ventricle, four. They all work in synergy so that we are here today, that we're breathing and we're alive. Like that, it's emotional health, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. They all need to be working in synergy. Now, when one of them goes out, the other three have to come in and step in. But if the other three are not healthy, how do they come forward, right? So this is why we need to have these conversations. Amongst all of us here, we're suffering something. And I use the word suffering, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but internally we're all suffering something. Some people wear it outside as a visible thing, and some people, well, majority of us, it's invisible. All right? So before I begin, what I want you to do is just take a moment to close your eyes. So I just want you to remember this moment. So if ever you face another tough day, and there are going to be some, of course there will be, remember this time, this space, this moment. All right? So anyway, right, we'll begin. So as you can see, I have visible scars. Do you think that's just the only part of my journey? So as a young girl, age 10, in a split second, life as I know it, I lost everything. But I sustained burns. I was involved in a plane crash. I lost my mom, dad, and my brother. Everything that I knew as security went. When I woke up and I learned that I looked different, I thought I had blonde hair. I soon learned there were scars. Now, me being me, I'm quite optimistic, and I thought in a year's time they're going to go away. So it's no big deal. But you know what? I'm so grateful that they haven't gone away because I'm so proud of them. But how does a 10-year-old girl go through all of that and still be able to be standing here today, sharing her journey and inspiring others to do the same? It's not easy, right? I've had the conversations of loneliness. I've had the conversations of low self-esteem. I've had the conversations of worthlessness, not being good enough. I've had that. Why? Because as a South Asian community, it was constant judgment on the way I looked. Oh, poor little girl. Who's going to marry her? Excuse me. Who's going to marry her? Who's going to look at her? What prospects does she have? So with those kind of conversations, more and more my self-esteem lacked. Now, as you know, anything that's internal is going to start affecting you physically eventually. All right? Mental issues will transpire into physical. There's no escaping that. If we don't address our mental issues, they will transpire physically. All right? However it looks. Okay? Some people have autoimmune conditions where things get triggered and it comes out. Other people are actually born with it. There's all various spectrums. So for me, all of this was eating away. So every time I got bullied and I carried it mentally, you can imagine physically, somewhere along the line, my body was suffering. not only had I put on weight because I was overeating, comfort eating, but the depression was also increasing. Now, it's all easy, again, in the South Asian communities, all image-based. Our point of inspiration are the Bollywood stars and things like that. Even a Bollywood star doesn't look like a Bollywood star. You take away the makeup and the hair and everything, they don't look like that movie. But yet, we were always taught to be inspired by that. So every day, working on my hair and makeup and that, trying to look like this person. And every time I failed, the internal being suffered. The weight kept piling on and on and on. So the South Asian community then tell you you're fat. They tell you you're ugly. They tell you you're worthless. They tell you you're useless. So all of that now is added pressure. Age 26, in the middle of doing my degree, which I was really excited about, doing biohealth sciences, I was feeling really unwell. And I went to my GP, who then rushed me to A&E. And you know, in A&Es, you have to wait for 3 to 4 hours. But within 20 minutes, I had a bed. That's how quick I got seen and had a ward bed. Tulsi, we have to do a biopsy of your kidneys. Why? My kidneys are fine. I pass urine. How naive was I just to think that it's just about the urine, right? Well, he goes, well, it looks like you either have a chronic disease or an acute attack. So in my head, I thought it's an acute attack and I can go back to university and everything's fine. They did a biopsy. I had to stay in this position 24 hours. And the next day, the results came out. My auntie was with me. She's been my support since the accident. And they said, Tulsi, you have end-stage renal failure. I didn't hear the rest of his conversation. All I heard is, you are dying. That's all I heard. Not that's what he said. That's what I heard. So I freaked out and I was like, how can I die? I haven't finished my degree. I need to finish my degree. And my auntie's just like, wait, just listen to what the doctor's actually saying. You're not dying. Processing it all. He said there are options. There's dialysis or a transplant. We kind of look at it. What kind of options are those? But at least there are options. There are options. And me being me, optimistic, is like, oh, that's fine, don't worry. I just need to get back to doing my degree because that was more important than this. And the surgeon, my consultant was like, no, Tulsi, you need to let us know what you want to do. Do you want to go on? Do you want to do this and commit yourself to a lifelong journey of dialysis and treatment, or do you want to see another way out? What kind of choice is that? But that many people are faced with choices like this, where it doesn't even feel like a choice. And somehow you've got to dig really deep within, find that something that's correct for you. Everyone can have an opinion. Everyone can bring in facts and everything else. But it's you who's got to fundamentally make that decision. And that decision's got to serve you for the rest of your life, whatever the decision is, right? Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't, and that's okay. And I said, no, I'm prepared to do this. I'm prepared. But because no one knew at what rate my kidneys were declining, at that point it was 15% function. Because no one knew at what rate, we didn't know when the kidneys were going to be failing. So I went back to university, then it's summer holidays. And me being me, because I love traveling, and you'd think, well, after a plane crash, how do you get back on a plane? Easy. You book a ticket and you just get on the plane and off you go. It's that simple, right? So I booked a holiday and I thought, let me just get one in case I start dialysis soon. So I was going to go to Spain. I don't even know why I chose Spain. I should have chose something a bit more exotic. But anyway, I chose Spain. And the day before I was flying, We need you to come in. We need to start your dialysis. Say what? No, I'm going on holiday. When I come back, can we not do it then? She goes, the chances are you probably might not make the plane. And I thought, sod's law. 2 plane crashes. No, okay, that's my hint. I've got to go into hospital now. And so I go into hospital, they fit me with a catheter. You might be able to see one here now. This is what I have here. So it's a catheter in the abdomen, had it fitted. But after that, I got sick because I had a lot of calcium buildup. So what was meant to be a simple thing ended up being a bit more complicated. But that's the story of my life, and that's okay. So I was there, sorted the calcium out, had the catheter, and I had 2 weeks training for my dialysis. 2 weeks. So I had my training, and then I come home, and my spare room is suddenly the warehouse. It was full of dialysis products. I left this bedroom as a spare bedroom, and I come home, boxes piled high, get to my bedroom, and there's a printer next to my bed, except it's not a printer, it's my dialysis machine. And I'm like, holy crap, this is the reality. But all good. Put your big girl pants on, do this. And I did. And then obviously I'm doing my degree at the time. I'm not going to stop that. So what did? I put everything on my bed, my books, my laptop, everything, plugged myself into the machine and did my stuff.
Sorry, how old you was then?
26 at the time. 26. So I did all that. And then in the morning, come off the machine, go to uni and do everything else. And it was fine. It worked. Did my degree, and I was so proud that I finished with a 2-1.
Woo!
Yes. So I finished with a 2-1. And the reason I mentioned the 2-1, and I was 1% short of a first, is I have achieved a lot in life. But that achievement always marks what I went through to get there. That's why I addressed the 2-1. It's not the grade. It's just what I went through to get that. So it's all good. I got my degree, and then whilst I was doing my dialysis, I was planning to move out. But in the process of moving out, I was decorating my house, and I put in all the facilities I needed because I'm on dialysis. I get a phone call. Hi, Tulsi, we have a kidney for you. Ah, great. Well, tomorrow I've got a meeting with the builders and the architects. So can I just let you know after that when I can come in? This is your life. Okay, how long have I got to let you know? 5 minutes. Okay, I'm coming in. But can I leave and then attend to my appointment? Tulsi, you're having a transplant. That's fine. So can I just find out what day am I leaving? Because you're going to be here for a week. Oh, but this project can't wait. Because this is your health. Okay, all right, it's fine. We'll iron it out. I'm leaving in 3 days. That's the deal. So I went on the basis that I'm leaving in 3 days, right? We shook on this. Anyway, I went in, did all the preps. Because I'm not the person waiting by the phone for this transplant, I forgot what's involved. I had this meeting years ago. Meds and all of this, I didn't know. So I get there, they go, Tulsi, you need to take this, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, okay, cool. Next thing, I have this transplant, I come out, and I'm like, right, so can I go home? No, you haven't started walking to the bathroom yet. Oh, that's easy. Try to get out of the bed, and it's like, okay, maybe it's not that easy. But because I wanted to go home, I did it. I did it with grit. I walked to the bathroom in agony, but I did it. Lo and behold, in 3 days, I went home. I did it. So, which is not something to be proud of, I'm going to be honest, but I did it. had my meeting with the architects and the builders, but then I was rushed back into hospital. And this is where the real journey started. So you'd think, okay, having a transplant, that's it, off you go, skip off into the sunset. No. I was so sick that I couldn't even crawl to the bathroom, let alone walk. I couldn't crawl. So sick that I didn't even know my name. I was so sick that I had to still listen to all the information that was coming to me and look after my grandparents who I live with. Somehow I had to find something within me to keep going. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's stupidity. I don't know what it's called. Or spirit. One or the other. So I did that. And then 2 weeks after my transplant, I had a big surgery. And that surgery is what saved my life. I had to have exploration of the kidney because my kidney was leaking. It was a cyst. I had to have reimplantation of the urethra and repositioning of the bladder. So my transplant was a breeze compared to this. My transplant took 3 hours. My second operation took 12. But there is where I lost sensation in my right leg. I couldn't feel my right leg and I was like, are you kidding me? I got all of this and now I'm not going to be able to walk. How am I going to look after my grandparents? That's the first thought. Not how am I going to look after me? How am I going to look after my grandparents? And I said, you have got to get me out of here. I need to walk out of this ward unaided. This is not an option-based thing. This is something that has to happen. They assigned me a physiotherapist 24 hours around the clock while I was in the ward. And I did it. I kept at it. Morphine, rehab, morphine, rehab, morphine, rehab. I did it. It took me 3 weeks. And I walked out of that ward because I got 2 people relying on me. Not me relying on me. I didn't even put myself first. I didn't care. It was them. Walked out. Anyway, I was quite sick for most of that year. And it was a lot of medication alterations that we had to do. But eventually, we're good. But one significant thing that happened one night whilst I was in the ward, I'm not religious or anything like that. I believe there's a higher being, and I believe there's this inner spirit, right, that's really strong. But whilst lying in the hospital bed at night, the image of Lord Krishna came. Again, like I said, I'm not religious. But he was so beautiful, so magnificent. And if I could draw him, I would. But what he left me with, and I'm intelligent, but these are not my words, surrender unto me what you cannot control. Surrender unto me what you cannot control. Because I'm here sitting there trying to control everything. But some things we have to let go. Some things aren't ours to control. Some things we have to surrender to the source and trust that the path that we're on is the correct path for us. No matter how much you fight yourself, some paths are yours. So all of these things that are happening to me are happening for me. Now, don't get me wrong, this doesn't happen overnight. I'm not going to be this profound spiritual guru overnight. You know, it takes time. Sorry. But it took time. It took time to, really understand those words. And it's because of that is why I'm living the life I am today. So you think, okay, great, Tulsi, you must have a wonderful life. Now you've got a transplant, you're doing great. What I portray in social media is so great, you're so inspiring, you're so amazing, so glam, you're so this. But what you don't see is the struggle. Some of the things that Simran addressed earlier, the struggles, right? It's like, I want to attend this event, but I can't. I can't afford it. There's going to be a lot of people. I'm immunocompromised. I'm this, I'm that. Some days I force myself in those situations, but the internal anxiety was crippling. So what did I do? I went, you know what? I don't want to be part of some of these things. I started addressing what's important to me. And I started addressing there are some events that are important and some things that aren't. Then I started addressing the people around me. And I tell you one thing, sharpen the people around you. It don't matter if it's your mother, father, auntie, uncle, brother, cousin, whoever. If they don't serve you, they don't need to be in your vicinity when you are growing. Yes, love them, of course, appreciate them, but sharpen the people around you. And I tell you why. When you feel shit and when you feel low, you need those people to pull you up. You need those people to remind you why you're doing what you're doing. You need these people to remind you your why. And you just need these people to just remind you that I got to get up and show up. Like today. Looking at me, you think, I look all right. Well, I am. But would you have guessed I was in hospital just early this week, unable to walk to the bathroom? To the point, me and Ravneet had a conversation. I said, please pray I make this event. There's a lot of people relying on me to be there. And it's okay if I had to cancel. I'm all right with that. But the amount of people I'm going to be letting down, fundamentally letting down, I'm going to be letting myself down. Now, my friend here, Leighton, is a very close friend. He's heard the conversations that I've been having for the past few weeks when I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. But it reminds me, Tulsi, you know why you're doing this. And this is why I'm saying sharpen the people around you. Surround yourself with the correct people. Right? They don't have to be any part of your life in any other way. But they're the ones who believe in you. They're the ones who keep pushing you to get out that door and do what you've got to do. Share your story, share your brilliance. Go and live your life, your ambitions, your goals, your dreams, whatever it is. Surround yourself with that. I didn't have that growing up, shockingly. So that 10-year-old Tulsi didn't have someone loving her. I didn't go home to love. I didn't go home to, hello, beta, how are you? How was your day? I didn't have that. Mine was like, get in that kitchen and cook. You don't need an education. Who's going to marry you anyway? You don't need to do this. That's what the 10-year-old Tulsi grew up with. But guess what? Tulsi that I am now, I'm just about love and compassion. I could be bitter. I could be angry. Who's that going to serve? It's not going to serve anyone. And that's not why I'm here. I've come here to do God's work anyway, which is to spread love and compassion. And I am a visionary. I visualize world peace. Now you might think, oh my God, here she is, hippy dippy, world peace. But if you have internal peace within you, and the next person has that, and the next person, can you imagine this whole room full of everyone just working from a place of peace and love, and we radiate that outside when somebody's angry and you just show them love? Can you imagine how you're going to flip scripts like that? That's why I'm a visionary. This is what I believe. And that's why I got out of bed today to show up here. That's why I put on my hair, put on my makeup, thank you, Huda. Found an outfit that was comfortable, and yes, I'm glitz and glam, bit of glitz, but I found an outfit that's comfortable, and guess what? I showed up. So you don't need to show up perfected. You just need to show up as you, right? Show up as you in your entirety. That's what you came here for. There is glitz and glam when we take pictures, obviously, because for the gram, you've got to look good. But the point is, show up. Show up, yeah? Show up. I had 1,010 excuses not to come. I dialyze. So I've just chosen to go on a intense program. I pretty much dialyze throughout the day. Okay, so it's a big commitment. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to accelerate my health. And I'm working with my consultant. And he said, if you're prepared to do this for 6 months, we're going to see phenomenal results. So I'm committing to me now, which means no social time. Which is great for me because anyone who knows me, yeah, I don't do socials. So no, I'm committing to myself. I'm committing to my eating plan. I'm committed to my fitness plan, and I'm going to be putting that in. But when it comes to this event, I had to do meticulous timing. So yesterday I had to go on my machine at a certain time, and then when I wake up, and everything had to be meticulous so I can show up here. What time the cab guy was going to pick me up, what route, and I panicked like I was talking to you, and we were in traffic, and I was like, you should take this route. He's like, you don't tell me what to do. I'm telling you what to do. I need to get to this venue by this time. And everything has to be meticulous just so I could show up here. Okay? Right, I can't control the traffic, but I can definitely control what route I take. All right? And that's one thing. So that's why I'm here. So like I said, show up. Show up, yeah? Whatever it looks like, show up. And just know that life is going to throw all sorts of curveballs. Of course it is. That's why it's exciting. But rather than seeing it as why me, it's try me. Try me. Yeah? And if it's tough, you look up and say, all right, you've chucked this at me. I got you. I'm going to use all the tools you gave me. I'm going to dig deep within, find those tools, and I'm going to use them. I'm going to sharpen them because some of them we haven't used in a while. And that's the tools I'm going to use to show up. That's the tools I'm going to use to do what I need to do. Not give up. Giving up is not an option. Even if at the moment, oh, this is tough, I can't do it, that's fine. Just have that moment. But just remind yourself, you survived the toughest days and you're here. So with that in mind, thank you so much for listening to me. And I really look forward to having the conversation with you next time.
Don't forget to share what did you think of this episode, and click subscribe, like, comment and share for updates on future new episodes.